So welcome to part 3 of our Chicken Mummy extravaganza. So what we are going to be doing now is we are going to be getting our mummies out of the salt. So here I've got my regular salt one that is that before lost almost 50 grams. I'm gonna weigh it too to see how well that did. So now remember, you want to do this over the trash can so that you don't make a big mess. And you want to try to get off as much of the salt as possible. We don't want it to look white. So I grab my mummy, I take it out, and now I'm making it snow. When you rub your mummy, if it's snowing, that means you need to get rid of that salt. Now I want you thinking about how your chicken has changed over time. You know, mine, the color has changed. It's gotten darker. The texture has gotten leathery. It had a couple like bits of skin, and they're like rubbery feeling now. We've essentially made chicken jerky, but I don't recommend trying it. That's a good way to probably get sick. But theoretically, it should work. So I'm just cleaning off my mummy right now. Sometimes hitting it across the side of the trash can can get some of the salt off better. But you want to try to get as much of that salt off as possible. And so this is what my mummy is looking like. Oh, I got a little too much salt. I got to get some more salt off. Now, when you do this, I'm going to weigh mine. It's going to be important for us to make sure we have the right ingredients. So I'm actually going to wash my hands and hold up the ingredients I'm using. Now, you don't have to use the same exact ingredients I do, but you want to have similar ingredients. So, sorry for getting ahead of myself. I got so excited about these chicken mummies. And I just burnt my bacon for the soup. Darn. Hopefully that'll be okay. Oh, well. So, I'm going to be using vegetable oil. You could use any kind of oil, and we're only going to use a teeny bit. So, like, I'm literally going to go and just pour some into my cap, and only a teeny bit into the cap. So it's like not even halfway in the cap because you don't need a lot of oil. In fact, you don't want a lot of oil. Too much oil is bad. I'm going to use cinnamon. I've used all sorts of spices before. Anything that smells good. So like you could be using cloves, rosemary. Cinnamon's one that's good. It smells really nice right away. I'm going to finally now do the weigh. Sorry, I want it in grams. All right, so my regular salt mummy really only weighs 126 grams now. So this is interesting. Typically, when I do this experiment, we lose a lot of weight the second time we go through it, and this only has lost 1 gram. Now, I'm going to go and take my mummy. The salt is off. We're going to want to apply a little bit of vegetable oil to it, okay? Just a little bit. And like I said, it could be vegetable oil, olive oil, any kind of oil. Now I'm going to rub that around on my mummy, okay? You want to rub it so that all of the skin is shiny. It's glistening. And what this is going to do is this is going to help our cinnamon on it. As I'm doing this, I'm seeing some of the salt is still on there, and that's okay. That's not that big of a deal. So I get it so my mummy is all shiny. Then I'm going to take my cinnamon and sprinkle it on. It doesn't take a lot, but then you want to go cover your mummy. And like I said, you can use whatever spices you want. You can use Gram Marsala. I saw Adelina had that. Could be anything. I like cinnamon because it smells really nice, and it's also pretty cheap. So it's okay to use a bunch of it. And it has a strong smell. Cloves are pretty good, but they're expensive. Rosemary is good. Now what I have here for wrapping, I have my simulated linen. Now, all I did was I just pulled a little bit of toilet paper off the roll and then cut it the long ways. So that's how I'm doing it. But people use gauze. They use all sorts of things to wrap their mummies. Now, I like to start from the bottom. Just wrap around. Try to keep the wrap tight. Ah. All right. See, and the oil is actually going to help this stick to it too a little bit. Let me get another one. So I'm wondering if because I use the refrigerator that either the salt didn't do as good of a job or it did all the job in the beginning. I'm curious because I'm used to this losing a lot more weight. Those of you who did not use the refrigerator might actually have a better experience with that. So I wrap around. And that's basically it. Unfortunately, you know, if we were at school, we'd be making a sarcophagus in your art class, but, you know, we're not in school because of everything. But here you are. You got your chicken mummy, and you can go, you know, put them to rest. You know, you could bury them in your backyard. You can, you know, just keep them away from your doggy. All right. So I'm going to quickly put this down and wash my hands so that I can touch my computer and see if you guys have questions. I got oil and all sorts of stuff on them. Alrighty, so let's see, what do we have here for... Do we still need the salt bag? No, you do not need the salt bag. You are donezo with it. All that salt can go away. I'm going to go measure my other one because now I'm curious if that lost more weight or what. Now, this was a bigger piece of chicken. Ooh. The Epsom salt's interesting because it's like encased it. Like way more.
Mr. Kenny,
Yes, sir.
can you show me how to wrap it again? My mom's here now, so she can help me.
Okay, well, I just wrapped mine, so I need to clean off this other one real fast before I can wrap that. But basically, you start at the bottom, like where the bone is, that you can see. You know what I mean?
Yes,
So,
I know what you mean.
yeah. So start at the bottom there, and I would just go tight little loops around it, and always overlap just a little bit.
You want these gloves because you're gonna.
So yeah, just go tight around. Yeah, this one's a lot harder to get the salt off of, the Epsom salt, but I could tell that the Epsom salt did a better job. Oh my goodness. Although this one smells worse. Well, I can't get all this salt off very easily, but this is my other mummy that I'm making right here. So I'm gonna quickly wash these hands again because gross. But yeah, so I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my, and so after you've oiled it up, you're going to start at the very bottom. Let's see, 152. So this one lost 12, huh? Yeah, it's not I'm thinking the refrigerator might not be the way to go next time. So I feel like it didn't lose as much. Yep, so I start at the bottom and I just tightly go around, Kadir. You overlap a little bit. Since I'm using toilet paper, you don't want to pull too tight or you're going to break it. But, yep, that's what we do. Any other questions on this? Your chicken only lost 7 grams? Oh, my goodness. But that's not overall. That's just this time, right? The second time, yeah. Yeah, did you put yours in the refrigerator too? No, okay. Maybe the chickens just have less water in them this year. Because I've had some times where I've changed the salt like 4 times, and the chickens like would lose, 10, 20, 30 grams each time. The first time they'd lose like 50. So you'd have a big chicken like this one that was 205 grams, and it'd be like 90 grams in the end. But it could just be too that the chicken I have had less moisture. So, all right. Those are our chicken mummies. I'm going to stop the recording because I don't really think there's a need for me to record anymore. But I can hang on here if you guys have questions or need help with anything. So stopping the recording. It's looking good, Riley. It's looking good, Adelina. Oh, boy. I know the cinnamon